What's going on, guys? Matt here from tclblogger.com. I wanted to discuss the elephant in the room, which is, is Ethereum gas fees kind of killing the NFT space? So we know NFTs are unique digital items, whether it be art or game cards or virtual land and all this sort of stuff. And, it depends from project to project where we see some gas fees. Gas fees is the same all across projects for like buying and selling digital items, but it is affecting different projects in different ways, right? And we're going to go through some of these and what these effects are in the short term, what they may be in the long term, what the solutions may be and are going to be in the next year, in 2021, and what we might experience and kind of foresee all of that coming. So on the front end, I've done a lot of stuff about sharing NFTs and the big sales and all that sort of stuff, but the technology behind it, a lot of this stuff, or at least the top NFT projects with the biggest volume. So for example, Nifty Gateway, Super Rare, Decentraland, Somnium Space, CryptoVoxels, all the ones that we visually see, even Axie Infinity, at least their Axies, they're all built on the Ethereum blockchain, right? And there's two different components. There's a price of the Ethereum coin, which is used, so the coin is kind of used, the currency is used to engage and pay fees and all that sort of stuff. And then there's also the tech behind it that allows people to build a project on top of Ethereum. So you can build, your own art minting platform like Super Rare and start to buy and sell these NFTs using Ethereum blockchain. The problem is that the more people that use Ethereum and the more popular Ethereum gets and the more projects that build on it, the higher the gas fees get. So what we're looking here is the price of one Ethereum. This is not gas fees, but this is just the price of one Ethereum. Let's give this a refresh. 1138. Okay, this has gone up significantly. 1149, so 1,149. I can't even believe it's over $1,000. This has gone up significantly in the last about 3 months. It's gone up from 385 USD from November 2020, November, December, Jan. This is like a month and a half later. It's hit 1,200 USD. So the price of Ethereum is going up, and this here GUI. The amount of GUI required for a transaction. So when you buy an NFT or you send someone money on the Ethereum blockchain, you're going to have to pay a transaction fee. And currently it's 243 GUI at the low end. So that the more GUI you pay, the quicker the transaction goes through. So you can see a 2 minutes, 30 seconds, etc. So generally when collectors like me want to buy some art, right, or want to buy a digital item, so let's just go to Gods Unchained here. It's a pretty cool game that they've raised a lot of money for. They're selling these cards that you can get and play, a game kind of similar to Hearthstone, challenge each other, win more cards, all that sort of stuff. Token Trove is a really cool marketplace for these cards. You kind of go through and buy like a gold one, a legendary shadow one, and all these sort of things. So Gods Unchained actually used to do really, really well. If we kind of open OpenSea rankings once again, and I just want to show you Gods Unchained on the rankings chart. So this is a kind of an overview, like kind of like a coin market cap kind of thing that I look at to give me a health check on some projects or just to see what's going on. And it shows a 7-day volume if it loads. All right, so 7-day volume meaning how much Ethereum has exchanged hands in that project. So CryptoPunks 7-day volume in the last 7 days, 800 Ethereum, so that's like $800,000, very close to $1 million. Rarible 677 Ethereum, and because I keep tabs of this very frequently, I kind of know in the back of my head what these are used to doing. Like I've seen Axie Infinity hit 1,000 Ethereum over the last 3 to 4 weeks. I know Rarible's been doing 2,000 Ethereum for a very long time for 7-day periods. So you can just kind of see which ones have kind of spiked up here really quickly. So Ethereum has gone up 1,400%. Ethereum name service. So this is 133 Ethereum for the last 7 days. Isn't a regular thing. For some reason, there's been some interest, so I can dive deep and see why. But if we click on Rarible, oh sorry, no, I was going to show you guys Gods Unchained, right? So look at Gods Unchained. Where is it? Where is Gods Unchained? It is right here, number 45, 4.48 Ethereum. There's a very long time where Gods Unchained, I think at the start, somewhere in Jan, Feb, where it was right at the top. It was actually like 300, 400 Ethereum. It was doing really, really well. And then when gas fees hit, suddenly these cards became way too expensive to transact. And to buy and sell these cards, for example, this may be a great deal at 0.05 Ethereum. But if I go to buy this card, 0.05 Ethereum is like $50 to $60, right? I click buy now. I have to confirm it on my wallet, and check this out. Take some time to load. So my MetaMask pops up just like the regular transactions. And although the card itself is $60, so 0.05 Ethereum, that's how much it cost me to buy the card. But the gas fee is $100, right? I'm paying $100 in fees to buy this card. Now suddenly it doesn't become a good deal, does it? You're paying 3x with the gas fees and the card. Back in the day, gas fees, this used to cost me like 30 cents or 40 cents. And now like gas has become so expensive in terms of Gwei, and because there's so much congestion on the network that it's become like 250 Gwei to put through a transaction. Before it was like 1 or 2 Gwei. It was minuscule. People used to just buy and sell all kinds of things, right? And what's going to continue to happen? And right now we're seeing Ethereum at $1,000. What's going to happen at Ethereum at $3,000? We're going to be spending $300 in Gwei. In fees, because remember, gas fees goes up in terms of the network congestion, so that's the activity. But in USD, it goes up as well in terms of Ethereum. So if Ethereum increases, yes, it's not directly correlated with the network or the network effect, but it is correlated with the amount of fees you're going to pay in USD. So Ethereum goes up, you pay more in USD for fees. Network congestion goes up, you pay more in gas fees. They both compound to make a stupid kind of scenario where you're paying $300, $400 potentially in the next 3 to 6 months if Ethereum hits $3,000, if more people use Ethereum, etc. It's kind of this catch-22 because, you know, the more expensive Ethereum gets, that's great for the community that holds Ethereum, but the more unusable platforms become because suddenly you can't do anything on Ethereum platforms. So because of that, we've seen Gods Unchained kind of really get wrecked in terms of transaction volume. Great game, they'll continue to do really well in terms of at least playing. Like you can still play games with each other, but you just can't transact. And they're doing their own thing. They're going to be moving to their own blockchain. I believe it's Immutable X. They're creating that. They're going to transition there. They'll solve their own issue, and that's fine. But what is this going to mean for the current project and the climate that we have? So yeah, 4.5 Ethereum. It's killed the marketplace. When that fixes itself, I'm sure this will increase. But Rarible as well. Rarible was a place where you could go and mint. Anyone can go and mint and start to sell pieces for $10, $20. You know, 0.05 Ethereum for an art piece, and maybe they'd mint like 100 of them, and artists would successfully sell there. You know, $10 to $20 a piece. But the problem is, again, like you're paying $100 or $200, $300 in transaction fees. Suddenly, why would you buy a $20, $30 art piece, right? Might be worth it in terms of the art piece itself. You compound it, you add the fees to it, it suddenly does not become a good investment, does it? So, and you can see here the Rarible graph where we can see the volume, right? So these are the weekly volume, and you can see it kind of blew up sometime in September. It was doing some crazy volume, 3,400 Ethereums in the last 7-day period, so 1,600, 3,200 Ethereum in volume. We're not looking at this line graph, right? We're looking at the volume, which is the bars, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the volume is the bars. And right now, you can see like in the last couple of weeks, it's kind of dropped off, hasn't it? So 625 Ethereum, which is still a decent amount. But here we can see this was on the 4th of the 1st, the 4th of Jan. That's when the week kicked off, and it's already the 8th of Jan in my clock. So maybe it's the 7th of Jan in the rest of the world. So it's been 3 days. It's already been half of the week. It's done 180 Ethereum in volume. Maybe it'll do 360 Ethereum. So maybe it'll double. But it's still getting lower, right? Even if it doubles its 360 Ethereum volume, it's going to be lower than this. So what this kind of indicates to me that projects are being affected by these massive gas fees, and suddenly Rarible becomes unusable. Now, Super Rare is okay, or at least it used to be okay for the last period, because you know, you're transacting much more larger items, more expensive items. You're buying something for 2 Ethereum, 3 Ethereum, 0.5 Ethereum, $500 to $2,000, $3,000. So you can kind of pay $30 to $50 in gas fees. But now, once it starts to hit $100 to $300 gas fees, I'm thinking even super rare might start to take a hit. We'll start to see the volume slowly decrease. This has been a pretty good week so far, but maybe it'll get less. And it's one of those things where we will have to see how the kind of thing, the ecosystem responds. Now, Nifty Gateway has a unique solution where you prepay the Ethereum once off. So I deposit my Ethereum kind of like in the Nifty Gateway bank, and once it's in there, then I can kind of spend that around. I don't have to keep paying the transaction fees every time that happens. I just have to do that, and then when I want to take my NFT out, then I pay the transaction fee. But in terms of buying and selling, I think I can do it once I deposit the Ethereum in there straight away, which is a pretty unique solution. And that's why we're still seeing Nifty Gateway go nuts, right? So, what's the solution here, and how is the space going to look like? Well, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a mass movement away from Ethereum, at least to a layer 2 like Matic. And we've seen that already where Aavegotchi launched. The Ether launch has been delayed. They're moving to Matic Network. So they've announced that they're moving to Matic Network, which really needs to be done. And Decentraland's moved to Matic Network. I believe OpenSea is also going to allow transacting on Matic Network. And whether it be Matic, whether it be something else, Binance Chain, Near Protocol, there's all Flow. So Flow from Dapper Labs, NBA Top Shots just had a record sale. They're doing really well because they're existing on a different blockchain. They're doing really well. And these blockchain layer 1, layer 2 solutions, they do, you can do transactions there for a fraction of the cost. But I think the problem as well is that people don't want to just mint new items on these chains. They want to transact the NFTs they already have. So I already have art pieces in Decentraland land. I want a solution to be able to transact these at a cheaper cost. So it's very difficult for a new blockchain to come on the spot and be like, hey, we can do it much, much easier and cheaper. Why don't you guys go mint there? I'm like, well, I can mint there, but what am I going to do with my collection of NFTs I already have that currently is that's no value to me? Might be valuable for some artists or some new projects, but then even those artists have to convince Ethereum-based collectors to go buy there, even though what you get is not going to be on the Ethereum chain. And people are kind of tribalistic in this space where if you want to buy, maybe you just consider NFTs to be NFTs if they're Ethereum-based NFTs, and that's where maybe a bunch of collectors want to spend their money because they don't want to spend their money on different chains. That's how some of them are. So I think we're going to see a lot more investment, a lot of these, these side chains or other blockchains kind of pick up and go crazy. There's quite a few that do really well, even Splinterlands on Hive, and there's some games that runs really well on these other blockchains. And once people realize that Ethereum is really going to be killing some of these projects, or at least in the short term until they do the switch, all these other, I think Matic is going to go nuts in terms of volume and price. I think personally, this is not advice to anyone, I think it's going to go crazy. I think Cardano is going to go crazy. Whether or not they are the solution, the broader sentiment is going to be like, well, people need to move away from Ethereum, and I think that's going to be a challenge in maybe Q1, Q2 this year, where that's going to start to become like the kind of vibe in this area. Like, what's the next L1 and L2 that might have a chance of taking a bit of that market share? It's very sad because I have Ethereum, I love Ethereum, but the reality is the more it grows, the harder it gets for developers and creators to start creating projects and selling art and all that sort of stuff. So just a few thoughts on the space, where it's going. I think NFT projects will continue to do their thing. There's no reason why you can't use something like Matic to start. And if everything's on Matic sidechain, then we can easily, I can have my land on Matic in Decentraland and then sell it on OpenSea in the Matic sidechain itself. And if everyone adopt Matic or the same chain, whether it be Near Protocol or whatever it may be, it will be kind of this thing where, all right, well, that will be the solution, because suddenly we can all transact across different platforms the same NFTs that we can at any time kind of throw back to Ethereum if you want to. Very quickly, OpenSea also mentioned that they had this thing here. Where is it? Oh man. Yeah, here we go. So they released a solution kind of to be able to mint your own art or your own collection on OpenSea without paying anything in gas, without paying gas. Okay, so it looks like you're paying nothing in gas. The thing is, you're going to be using ERC 1155 tokens, which are not really unique tokens. They you can kind of make, I guess, 100 editions of the same ERC 1155s. We can't really do that with ERC 721s, where each one is unique. I believe that's the case. But the thing is that it says, we call this lazy minting, where they are not minted on chain until the first purchase. So until you get a sale, I think maybe the buyer mints and pays for it, right? So it may solve it for the seller as a new artist who wants to mint new work, but for the buyer, it'll be, you still have to pay the gas fee. But it'll be cheaper because I think it's ERC 1155 is cheaper than the ERC 721, I think. So there is this mass realization across the community that something needs to be done about this, and there will be a movement and this reshuffle. And it's kind of the challenges to adopt to the next wave. The next wave want to get involved really quickly, but there's so many issues, and maybe some larger game, AAA games want to get involved, but they can't really use Ethereum, right? I know that Blanco's block party went on EOS because it's faster, easy to mint, and all that sort of stuff. So I think we're going to see these chains not really matter at the end of the day, because there's going to be enough people kind of using NBA Top Shots. There's going to be enough people playing the game. Blancos, no one's really going to care whether it's on EOS or not. People will still play and continue to grow with the game, and that collector base will do their own thing. But in terms of what's going to happen to Ethereum as a price, as a platform, as the tech, yes, we are also moving to Ethereum 2.0, but from what I've been told, it's a transition and it's still going to take 1 or 2 years. These projects can't really afford to do no business in 1 or 2 years. They have to still continue to conduct business, right? So there has to be a move. So that's just some thoughts on what I think is happening and what may happen. But it is going to be an exciting year in terms of interest. But in terms of tech innovation and being forced to grow, I think it is a great thing, because with crazy interest and the pressure of growth comes innovation and, you know, a reshuffling. And I think it needs to be done, and it'll be great to see. So that's some thoughts. Let me know how you guys are going. I'll see you guys in another video.